Good day. I'm with RamKumar, board member of the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, as well as the MD of Our Native Village. Pleasure to have you with us today.
Pleasure to be here.
Lovely. There's so much being talked about sustainable tourism, and being a board member of the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, Karnataka has been the first state to adopt, seriously look at these practices. Where do you see the future of sustainable tourism across India?
Yeah, there's a lot that's going to happen over the coming years. So, as a board member, I have responsibility for India as a country. I'm the country head for India and the South Asian region also. And we've been interacting with all the governments in the South Asian countries, including India, of course. And there's a lot of interest because now governments are beginning to see the merit, or more importantly, the necessity to slip into the Global Sustainable Tourism Council's criteria in specific, but in general to move towards sustainable tourism. Most countries are signatories of the United Nations, Sustainable Development Goals and to the Climate Pact that was signed in Paris. So there's a heightened consciousness towards sustainability, and this heightened consciousness is spreading across all sectors. And tourism is also obviously one very important sector because of its potential for employment generation, poverty alleviation, GDP increase, and all of that. So governments are getting very interested. So there's a lot of potential. As far as the private sector is concerned, they are a little slower on the uptake because as of now it's business as usual. They don't see a need for it, and that comes from a lack of awareness of what benefits can sustainable tourism principles, practices, and processes deliver to the businesses in specific. Right now, there's an overall impression that it's good to do, it's nice to do. You know, if I'm going to save the planet, I should do it. And it's all CSR, esoteric. But the private sector still doesn't realize the actual core benefits of moving towards sustainable tourism, and that will only come as we run more awareness programs and training programs. So it's work in progress. So from the GSTC's perspective, we are taking a long-term view. I'm taking a 10-year view as far as South Asia and India is concerned, to say in 10 years we should be able to move the needle significantly. And so let's hope it goes that way.
Wonderful. So, Ram, I'm going to move perspectives now from the GSTC to you being a private owner of, our own village?
Our native
Our
village.
native village. That's a lovely name. Well, tell me this. Is sustainable tourism a nice brand to have to showcase your offerings? Or does it really and seriously, add a value business proposition, and you see returns in the long term?
So when I started my resort more than 11 years ago, I didn't start it because I wanted to run a hotel. I'm not a hotelier.
Okay.
I've just come from the outside completely. I'm very passionate about sustainability, and I had promised myself that I'll build a model for sustainable living. And my resort is a manifestation of that. It is a testing ground on, is it possible to build a model for sustainable living? And I chose the hospitality business because it's unforgiving. Clients, when they pay 10,000 rupees a night, they're not going to be too bothered about where the electricity is coming from.
True.
They're very demanding,
Yes.
right? The service business is very demanding. And I wanted a demanding business to try out the concepts of sustainability because that's the only way we'll perfect the model. So 11 years now, and I think we built a successful model for sustainability from the hospitality space perspective. And it served us pretty well. Now, lots of what happens in the hospitality business, not all, lots of what happens is what we call greenwashing. Hotel typically changes their bulbs, the CFL bulbs, puts a little note in the bathroom saying use your towels twice please, and suddenly they are an eco resort. So that is something that has been ruling the roost for many years. I've seen it over the last decade. But the encouraging thing is, when I started my resort, I used to generate 70% of my electricity myself using solar panels on my
Solar.
roofs. All my construction was 100% sustainable construction. I had a fully natural swimming pool where I use aquatic plants to clean the water. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So biogas, the various, and we were experimenting with everything. saying what is working, what is not working, what is working we kept, what is not working we threw out and went on to the new. So when I started doing it those days, I remember people from the hospitality business, friends turned around and said, what is all this circus about? And put a diesel generator and get on with your life. You're in the business of hospitality, but
True.
I actually, that was not my that was not my passion. So in a way, for me, because sustainability was so big and that is what I was experimenting on, so I'm a bit of a Puritan. Yeah, so I'm a bit of a Puritan, and necessarily I'm critical of people who do greenwashing. Necessarily I'm critical of people whose standards are very low, because last thing we want to do in the business is to glorify low standards. That's the worst thing we can do for any sector, right?
Yeah.
You only glorify the gold standard.
Yes.
So I've been a bit of a critic. Yeah, I've not made many friends in the industry because of that, but that's all right. I'm not here to win an election. But overall, what we managed to do with my resort is to, and my resort, and of course, like me, there are many other resorts. Of course, Kerala has lots of them, and all over the country there are lots of these resorts. So all of us together have raised awareness to some extent.
Wonderful.
On sustainable tourism. Yeah.
And what are your final words to the business community out here in Karnataka and all over India? What is it that they can do either collaboratively or individually to promote sustainable tourism practices?
Yeah, the first thing I want to tell the industry is when I started it, my commercial value system was not as sound as it needed to be because my objectives are different, right? From 11 years ago to today, prices have crashed,
Yes.
right? Solar PV cells, windmills, storage systems, everything, the prices have crashed exponentially. So at that time when I started building my resort, even then I was financially viable. Now it contributes to your bottom line. It is commercially extremely viable.
Great.
So my advice to people in the industry will be, remove this mindset that, if you go towards sustainability, it's very expensive. Replace that mindset with the fact that when you get into sustainable tourism, you're definitely going to reduce your operational costs, which will directly go to your bottom line. Secondly, you will be in tune with what the consumer wants tomorrow.
Yes.
You don't want to be irrelevant, and you better start that journey today. A time will come when consumers will turn around and say, when they're on TripAdvisor, is this GSTC certified? Yes, no. If they're not, no, forget it, we won't go there. It will come. It's coming very quickly. Before that hits you, and you don't have enough time to prepare for it, start the journey now. It'll take you 2-3 years, to complete that journey.
But start it somehow.
Start it because it is from a pure bottom line perspective. It is the right thing to do. It's the next best thing to do to make money besides increasing your own sales. This is something which is commercially viable and it makes a lot of sense. Financially, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, talking about the right thing to do, Ram, thank you for being with us today as a board member of the GSTC. We really appreciate your inputs and hope that Karnataka paves the way and hopefully leads the way towards India becoming a sustainable tourist spot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure speaking.
Pleasure. Thank you.